Last month, the UN Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights estimated that nearly 15,000 children may have been killed since October 7th, a number that continues to rise. Now, for the children in Gaza, life under bombardment is a disorienting, violent experience where joy and death live side by side, as Jumana Karachev reports. And a warning, some of the images you're about to see are graphic.
Everything we're about to show you was filmed over the course of 4 hours in a single day. A snapshot of 9 months of war for Gaza's children. Nothing can erase what these little eyes have seen, but they've come here to try to forget, even if just for a little while. Most of these children were on their way to queue up for water, one of the newfound hardships of this miserable life, when they stopped for a makeshift puppet show. Cans, cardboard, and string, it's a distraction. But kids have to relate to their make-believe friends with stories just like theirs. "12-year-old Hala longs for the days when she had a home in Gaza City. This might seem like a surreal scene, but at times of war, life does go on, as does the horror. In the same area of Gaza, injured children arrive into one of the last hardly standing hospitals. It's a constant stream of casualties from an Israeli strike nearby. Among them, a severely injured toddler. He clings on to the stranger who brought him here. There's no room left. They leave him on the floor. His cries, his pain, drowned out by the chaos. Outside, another ambulance pulls up with another boy, here for the morgue. It wasn't the bombs that killed him. He starved to death, his father says. As they prepare him for burial, his emaciated body lays bare for the world to see what Israel's siege has done to Gaza's most vulnerable.
حطونا في مكان وحاربوا براحتكم. بتمنى لو كنا نلحق هذا الولد عشان ما أنا الحين أنا ممكن صامت، بس بعد ما أروح من عمكم يمكن أفرق، مش عارف. أنا يمكن قدامكم صامت عامل حالة صامت، لكن أنا مش متحمل داخليا، مش متحمل.
A broken father, like so many parents who helplessly watch their children die in their arms. Their suffering has become a statistic by which the world that watches on measures the awfulness of this war. His name was Mohammed Abu Kaloub. He was only 9. Born with cerebral palsy, he died by a garbage dump where his displaced family was forced to camp. Back inside the emergency room, that toddler is still on the floor, barely conscious, surrounded by medics, but no family by his side. No one knows his name. Thousands of children like him have arrived to hospitals injured and alone throughout this war.
We found that toddler days later at another hospital. His name is Abdel Kamal Al-Aqad, in intensive care. He hasn't uttered a word since the attack. The shock is still clear behind his glassy eyes, the dirt still under his fingernails. It's his aunt who's here with him. His mother was seriously injured. Kamal still doesn't know his 14-month-old sister is gone. Days after our cameraman filmed him in the ICU, we received the news that Kamal did not survive. He was 3. This one day showing how fragile existence is in this place, where life, death, and stolen moments of joy meet.
Thanks to Jumana Karachev for that important reporting there. Well, this spring, 2 American doctors made the treacherous journey into Gaza to try and offer their services in this desperate situation. But what they found was far worse than they had expected. As they recently wrote for Politico, what we saw was unspeakable. Doctors Mark Perlmutter and Feroz Sidwab joined the program to relay what they witnessed and the urgent need for an end to the violence. Doctors, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for taking the time. We should note that both of you volunteered at the Gaza European Hospital in Khan Yunis for 2 weeks at the end of March into early April and have a combined 57 years of volunteering in disaster and war zones. So we should commend you for your humanitarian aid all of these years, especially now. Let me start with you, Dr. Perlmutter. What surprised you most or stood out to you in terms of what you saw during your time there in Gaza?
Retrospectively, what surprised me most was not the anticipated effect of a 2,000-pound or a 500-pound American bomb being dropped on a tent city, bombs that were designed for busting bunkers in Afghanistan, but rather how the carnage that was induced really focused on children, healthcare workers, and journalists. Those that were the most innocent, those that provided care, and those that would report to the world the accuracy of the carnage were specifically targeted.
When you say specifically targeted, can you go into more detail what you mean
Sure.
by that?
Absolutely. We found children, many workers found children, not just myself, that had high velocity bullet wounds, sniper bullet wounds, rifle wounds, that were dead center in the chest. I've mentioned to other reporters that I couldn't put my stethoscope more dead center over a heart than the entrance bullet hole was. There was no back to these children. The bullet had removed their entire torso. There was a similar bullet hole in two of the children's temples. So they were shot twice. Once was certainly a kill shot. The second one was when they were on the ground. And so no sniper hits a child, and I'm talking toddlers, twice by mistake. And so, and that finding was duplicated by many healthcare workers, that children were specifically targeted by high velocity rifle bullet wounds. And then there was a plethora of healthcare workers with horrible stories of being specifically targeted. And then, of course, journalists were either assassinated, not allowed back into the country, or had their equipment destroyed.
Yeah, and as you would imagine, that's quite an extreme allegation to make, that these civilians were indeed targeted. These are allegations that you made in a CBS News interview, and an IDF spokesperson in response to that said that the IDF has never and will never deliberately target children. The IDF stressed that it calls and acts for the evacuation for civilians from combat zones. And of course, CNN cannot independently verify any of these allegations that you've just made. Dr. Sidwa, let me ask you just about the context of children being the majority of those who are suffering here. UNICEF calls Gaza the world's most dangerous place to be a child. They make up 90% of those seen in the ER there. Tell us specifically about 9-year-old Juri, who you treated.
Sure. Juri, yeah, like you mentioned, she's a 9-year-old girl. She, along with her family, evacuated from Khan Yunis to Rafah under threat. And when they got to Rafah, went to her grandparents' house. That home was bombed. Her grandparents were killed. Some of her siblings were killed, and the rest were grievously injured. We found her in the preoperative area, actually at European Hospital, purely by accident. And the wounds she had, I don't want to go into the details on the air. Maybe if people want to see pictures and read the details, they can read that Politico article. But the wounds she had.
We're showing, Dr. Sidwa, some of the photos
thank you.
that you
I
provided.
appreciate it. The wounds were just horrific. It's not something that anybody can actually fully recover from, even if she does manage to survive. And she's thankfully in Egypt now. Even if she does manage to survive, she's going to be permanently disabled for the rest of her life. And she's just one of thousands and thousands of kids who are hurt this way. It's with the healthcare system under attack, and with the healthcare needs of the population so dramatically increased from what the any system really could provide. These children don't have much of a chance.